I manifested this video months ago.
What?
And out of my thousands of videos that I've made, this I could not wait to open up and actually see that it existed. Since 1972, there's been over 1,000 different gaming consoles that have come back. Now obviously most of them don't exist anymore, but each and every one of them promised something. The ultimate way to game at home, the ultimate way to game on the go, the ultimate combination of those things, but none of them ever fulfilled that full promise of being able to game however we want, wherever we want. And in the gaming world, I think we might finally be in the future. One gaming device that does everything you thought a gaming console or a PC should do. And is that device the latest from Lenovo, their Legion Go? So before I get to all the things I love about the Legion Go, and I really did manifest this video back when the Legion Go was just rumored, and then Lenovo and AMD reached out to sponsor a video, and I could not say yes fast enough. So thank you to them for sponsoring this video. And in that vein, I do want to thank you guys for being awesome humans, for supporting the channel, for watching me all of these years. If you get a chance to win $500, open to anyone in the world. Let me know down below what's the first game that you would play on your Legion Go. Leave your social handle in the comments. I contact you if you win. Give the video a thumbs up. Let it run for 10 days. All the information you need that will be down in the description. So I think we should probably start with the obvious. What makes this different from the other mobile gaming consoles out there? And there are a lot of them, especially what makes it different from any other sort of PC for that matter. But one, and probably the most obvious at this point, it's all of those in one, or at least it kind of claims to be. This is effectively a Windows machine. So it is a full-blown PC that's shaped like a handheld gaming device. And because it is powered by Windows, you can play pretty much anything on it from pretty much any library that you want. So Steam library, Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation Remote Play, good old games, games from EA Pass, Ubisoft. Not to mention being able to emulate older games. Lenovo was marketing this as the ultimate all-in-one device, but this all-in-one device isn't meant to stay in all-in-one piece. So stop me if you've seen this before, but the controllers come off, similar to what sort of Nintendo can do. However, these controllers for Legion Go are far more functional and powerful than what the Joy-Cons do, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute when I talk about the gameplay experience. So I've been playing with the Legion Go for the better part of a month, and the first unit we got in was very pre-production hardware with pre-production software. Then we got in production hardware, but not quite software. So I've seen the evolution of this as it gets ready to go to release. So I feel like I've got a pretty good sense of what it can do, what it can offer, most importantly, what it feels like to game on. So Lenovo's got a big job here. They are trying to do what no one's really done outside of Nintendo before. Make a portable console that can do everything. A lot of the specs might sound familiar. You've got your AMD Ryzen Z1 with the RDNA graphics. You got 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM at 7500 megahertz and storage up to a 1 terabyte PCIe drive. We've seen those specs before. Where Lenovo's trying to flex a little bit more is in the display. And as somebody who really loves displays, this is where you start to see sort of Lenovo's expertise in the PC world. So you've got an 8.8 inch QHD plus screen. It's 144 hertz with a 500 nit peak brightness. And if you put this screen next to the competition, you can very clearly see a difference. And I think this is one of the many ways Lenovo is trying to sort of separate themselves in this market. So playing a game here like Spider-Man, I'm getting 40 and 50 frames. I went in and tweaked some settings. I dropped the resolution down a bit, and I got a really smooth experience here. I'm able to play. I don't see any jumps or shudders. The game looks and performs really smoothly. As I'm swinging, I don't know if it's picking up on the microphone here, but I'm getting a rumble. Every time I push the trigger, I get a real subtle rumble. It's nice feedback to what I'm doing. And speaking of feedback, to my hand, the buttons here feel pretty good. There's plenty of tactile feel, especially to the A, B, X, Y buttons. I think the experience is overwhelmingly positive, but you have to set your expectations for what this is. If you are coming from a console, you're coming from a PS5 or an Xbox One X or S, and you're expecting that same experience, you might be disappointed. You're not getting that sort of plug and play type of gaming. If you're coming from the PC world and you're used to dealing with Windows, launching games inside of Windows, tweaking settings to get it to run perfectly for whatever hardware you have, you're going to love everything about the Legion Go. So another area they're flexing is with buttons. There are 20 assignable buttons here too. So if you're a console gamer and you gravitate towards pro controllers, you're going to dig every single one of those 20 buttons. I didn't use a lot of them for the games that I was playing, but if I wanted to, at least you've got that option there. The triggers do feel really nice. There's a bit of a weird design thing though. When you have it depressed, if your finger slides off to the side and kind of hit the hard plastic, it's not sharp, but you're definitely something that I was aware of. And out of those programmable buttons, they're arranged differently on the left and the right side, which might seem weird, but actually makes sense because obviously these controllers come off. But the one on the right, it's got a bit of a trick. And you think it probably comes off like a Switch controller does, but it's a bit different. So there's a mechanism on the back. You go ahead and push a button and you slide down and it comes right off. And it's the same thing with the other one. It's not a rail at all. It slides right down and off. Obviously a lot of things are cool about this, right? Being able to game portable and swing away as I'm doing this. It's very reminiscent of maybe another handheld that's, been pretty popular. But this also has another, I think, a pretty cool trick, especially if you play a lot of first-person shooters, and it's this that comes in the box. But if I take this controller and this innocuous piece of plastic, flip a little switch on the bottom, turns this to FPS, drop it in, this now becomes a mouse. And there's buttons for mouse clicks left and right. You can see as I'm moving, my right hand becomes the mouse, my left hand is the WASD, and I can be able to control sort of anywhere that I, want to go. But again, this is all stuff that came on this portable console. I can plug in a mouse and a keyboard, all that stuff if I want. But to take this experience on the go and play some Call of Duty, whatever first-person shooter I want to play, is a really cool experience. It's obviously meant for like portable gaming. You're not gonna have to do a workout beforehand to hold this, but it's a little chunky at just over 1.5 pounds. And while you are gaming, you should know you may hear some fan noise. The fans do tend to get a little bit loud and a lot of heat is getting kicked out the top. Not like you're gonna burn yourself hot, just it's warm and be aware of it. If you do want a game on the go, it has a 49 watt-hour battery. Now don't expect to be gaming all day even with all your settings turned to low, but sort of other Windows-based consoles, this one's definitely lasted the longest. But again, you're going to game for a few hours, you're going to want to plug that in. If the removable controllers and the screen are the star of the show of the Legion Go, I feel like the hinge is like the best supporting actor. This makes the experience so much better. If you use other consoles with bad hinges, you're very quickly aware of that. This is incredible. It's almost infinite angle. It stays really solid even when you're using the touchscreen and kind of pushing on it. This hinge is really good. They also added some RGB. They didn't go nuts with RGB. It was just like, it was tasteful RGB here. So like I mentioned, this is obviously a Windows machine that's being powered by Windows, but Lenovo sort of recognizes that that's sometimes, I think, a little bit clunky to get into your games. So they've got a software skin on top. See it behind me. This is called Legion Space, and it's a sort of a skin for everything you want. It's a game store. One thing that's really nice about the Legion Space too, it'll sort of take all of your gaming services and organize them for you. So you've got everything that you want all in one sort of easy to access spot. Theoretically, if you were just playing games, this would be the only place that you should have to go to access those games. I think this is appealing more to the folks that are coming from the console side. You want something simple, it's easy to navigate, you don't have to do much settings tweaking unless you want to. And if you're on the PC side and you're used to it, you just have a push of a button and you're back into the Windows side. They've sort of made it really easy to kind of bridge that gap between both of those sort of gaming players. I think there's a huge potential here for the Legion Go, but there's also areas where it can be improved. I think having the adapter where I can have the controls together and sort of play in a tabletop mode, something that is really needed. I'd also love to see a dock to play on a larger display, to use it like I would a console. I haven't seen that, haven't tested it. It's something I think will make the ecosystem, I think, a bit more well-rounded. Now, obviously you're gonna be playing a lot of games on here. And initially, I think a lot of those games aren't always going to play as perfectly as you would expect. You gotta go through and tweak those settings. Now, the PC gamers, they're super used to that. Console gamers, not so much. I do wish the software would kind of gently nudge me, be like, hey, we notice you're, I don't know, under 30 FPS. You might wanna tweak your settings, right? To maybe even do it for me when I launch the game. I think that'd be really nice. And also, that's a software thing that maybe could potentially come in the future. And I do think there's going to be huge software improvements going forward. Somebody who saw this from, I'm guessing, late stage beta to now kind of alpha release, we've seen gigantic steps in what this can do. From seeing sticks get calibrated better, to software performing better, to games performing better, everything is better than it was, and now it is really good. So I'm incredibly optimistic about what Lenovo is going to do with the Legion Go. Lenovo is doing a lot here, especially at a starting price of $700. You are getting an incredible screen that right now cannot be matched by the competition. You're getting controllers that come off, FPS mode if you want to use it. Lenovo's including a really good case in there as well for that price. You don't have to pay extra for that. There is a lot of value here. All right, so who's this console for? I think for a lot of folks, it's going to be kind of in addition to a PC, in addition to a console, whatever you guys have at home. And the reason I was so excited about something like the Legion Go is sort of due to my family situation. I don't have time to sit and play PC games, unfortunately. And my consoles are set up in our family room. And the games I like to play, I can't really play when my kids are around. They're not necessarily appropriate. So I don't have a huge amount of time to play console games. It's the only time that I get to play games is when I can do it mobile. When I can sit on a couch and play, or take it with me here to the studio. That's why something like the Legion Go is so exciting to me. I could play all those games that I missed all of these years. The Lenovo Legion Go is not a perfect device, and there's gonna be a lot of people out there that are gonna wish it was more powerful, wish it had a higher resolution screen, or bigger battery, or a bunch of new features that may ultimately come in a Gen 2 or 3. But as a device that exists right now, it is incredibly full-featured. And I think its full story isn't yet written. You know, I wish the dock was available when I film this. I wish the adapter that put the controllers together was available when I film this. When that comes, you have a full ecosystem that can sort of take this, I think, one step farther than it is. For somebody like me who just cannot play the games I want, a device like the Legion Go is really my only choice. And in that world, this is the best that is available. I could play any game from any service because this thing is running Windows, and that alone has made it a must-have for my bag. And if you are somebody who has a PC or has a console and wants to take that console level experience or PC level experience with you, you gotta check out Lenovo Legion Go.